Hi, Mermaid Junkies. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so today's video is 6 treasure trove tips for creating boundaries. So number 1 is to always put yourself first. Now, you guys know that every time that I shoot a video, I have had experience in it. And about 2 weeks ago, and I think I put this on the video before that, but because I was completely out of alignment, I really started to feel bad. Not feel bad, but I really started to reevaluate how I was portraying my information. And I always want my videos to be evergreen, you know? So like if somebody sees them 10 years from now, that it still will apply to them. And I think that because the energy that I was putting forth was kind of like, you know, aggressive and angry, like I was completely out of alignment, I think that the message is not heard. And so in the beginning of that, I think that I did share, you know, boundaries, and that's what I want to talk about again today, but I think I'm going to do it on a more equal, calmer level. So I wanted to give 6 different treasure trove tips for creating boundaries with others. So like I said, the first one is to remember to stay in alignment. I think there's so often that because we're such habitual people, that there's many times that we'll wake up or just out of pure habit, we will agree to do certain things without even recognizing that we've done it until we're in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like of saying, okay, I'll agree to do this particular thing for you or do this favor for you. And then when the moment comes, you're kind of like, oh, I really wish I would, you know, sometimes have you ever done that? Like you'll commit to something and say, oh yeah, no problem, no problem. And then when the actually day arrives, say it's a penciled in, you know, appointment or something, and it's later down the road and you're like, oh, I really don't want to do that this day. You know, when the day arrives and you're supposed to do the particular thing that you promised that you would do, but you're then in a different mindset and a different mood in that day. And you're like, oh, I really don't want to do this. Like, oh, I promised I would take that person to the airport or whatever. But you feel obligated. And so how many times do I think that we do things habitually and we're not in alignment when we are making decisions and choices in our life? Because there's so often, you guys, that we really do things so habitual. We don't even think before we do certain things. And that goes a lot along the lines of when we have thoughts, our thought processes. You know, you just constantly wake up and you're on a momentum, and because you were thinking that particular thing the day before, then you'd kind of pick up that rhythm again and keep thinking about that same thing. And that's what creates a belief, because it's a thought that you've continually thought of over and over and over. And that's where we gain beliefs, our belief system. So the number 1 thing, like I said, number 1 is to stay in alignment. Remember that, be in touch with your feelings and emotions each and every day. And that's why I always would recommend that you meditate, because it really helps you to put you into a beautiful alignment, and you think the way Source would think, and you're in a very good vibrational energy at that point. The second one is, let's see, number 2, put yourself first. Now, I think with this, I used to struggle with this quite a bit. I'm getting better. I'm not, you know, completely I'm on the road to recovery, if you want to say it like that. But along my transformational journey, I believe that I had always in the past put other people before me because of guilt or being trained and conditioned into a belief that in order to be Christ-like, because that's where my validation would come from in my previous, I want to say my before, pre my transformational journey, is that I equated being of service and doing things for people as a way to justify or clarify my religious, spiritual nature, right? So like I would equate being of service, like that's how Jesus was. He was always in service of people. And so I gained that belief system that I needed to always put other people before me. It was more important. And 2, you equate that with love, receiving love when you're doing things to serve others. Even though it's not always the best vibrational energy, but I think that now, along my transformational journey, I have recognized that, is that I need to be selfish in the sense that I must always choose what I want to do first, and if that makes me feel good, and not to have guilt. That's number 3. Work through not having guilt or being persuaded, or sometimes you can be manipulated into doing things that you really, really don't feel good about in your heart and your gut, and you're like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I really, whatever the case may be, whatever it could be, you know, taking somebody to run an errand or something, and maybe you just don't feel like doing it, or there might be those particular personalities that are in your circle of influence, and you might have that one needy friend, you know, or that one friend that always seems to need something, and you somehow you get coerced into doing it, and you can't figure it. You're sitting there like, you know, strangely in your mind afterwards, you're like, how do they always get away with manipulating me, or making me feel guilty, or feeling like there's no one else, and so I have to do it because they need me. And so you might want to look at the internal reasons of why you were actually doing the things that you're doing, you know, and creating those boundaries. Because a lot of times people, like, I can say that for me justifiably, that in my past, before my transformational journey, I would do things out of feeling obligated, or like I want them to like me, or they need me. And so many times people live their lives in that needy sense of mentality. And the reason that they do it most often is because that particular person has that energy, and that person that is asking you to do these things, or you're always breaking your boundaries for this particular person, or whoever it could be, is that they are touching in on your particular vibrational energy, and that is a weakness of yours. That is not necessarily, maybe weakness would not be the word, but they're stepping into that disc that they know that you're a little bit culpable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll do it because you feel bad for them. So they know that they can always get away with it with you. And so it's because maybe we might not have a sense of great self-worth and self-love. And I think personally, for my own particular journey, that's exactly what it was, is that I would do things because I'm like, I didn't love myself completely. And so I felt guilty saying no, you know. And then you hear the rhetoric of, you know, if you loved me, you would do this for me. Well, what's wrong with you? Why are you selfish? What do you think? The world revolves around you, Raquel? You know, but now I'm at the point to where, yeah, actually the world does revolve around me. And some people think that that's very, you know, egotistical, but it's a very confident building attribute. And I'm very happy to say that now. So that was number 3. Number 4 is practice paying attention to your feelings. Now, I don't know if you do this, or if you live the law of attraction, or you're very much a person that lives spiritually on energy. And I am very much like that. I mean, there's nothing that I don't do. I mean, I've gotten very good at focusing and keeping my thoughts on a good momentum. Now, obviously, like I said, like the video the other day, I had just kind of allowed myself to go there, and then the momentum picked up. And then, you know, what's interesting too is that creates a whirlwind as far as frequency in the universe, because everything like attracts like, right? And so what it did is it created the most comments, mean comments, that I've ever received the whole time in 4 years that I've had this channel. And so that's another reason that I actually wanted to delete the video, because that creates a momentum. And so whatever you focus on, whatever you're thinking about, it's like it completely is law of attraction. It's just like if I were to start gossiping and I were to be talking about someone, I can guarantee you all the people that want to get on that disc of being gossipers and finding the negative in life and always seeing the bad things in life, I promise you, you're going to find all the gossipers. They congregate, and it's just law of attraction. So the one thing that I want to say again is that focus on your feelings and your emotions. And so when creating boundaries, you want to make sure that when this person asks you to do something, but it could be as simple as, like, let me give you an example. before I would just do things just out of habit, like I was saying in number one. But now, like now that I've, been married almost a year, and I really focus on my energy and everything like that, I've noticed that I really am very intuitive and very in tune with my spirit. And so, like, say for instance, Jeffrey asked me, hey, honey, would you mind running to the grocery store and pick up a couple of things? I really don't feel like going to the store today. And there's been a couple of times that I'm like, love, I don't feel like going today. Whereas before, if someone asked me to do that, or say my parents asked me to do that, or my ex-husband asked me to do that, or my kids wanted me to run them somewhere and I just really didn't feel like doing it, I would actually do it, but I would be pissed the entire time. And I would resent them because I really didn't want to do it. When initially, now see, I didn't know this before my transformational journey, but initially, it's not their fault that I'm actually the one doing the errand. It's my fault that I didn't say no. I don't want to do that. Well, why? Well, why can't you just do it for me? You know what I'm saying? Like my kids, why can't you just do it? Why can't you just do it? Or what's the wrong? You're not doing anything. What do you have to do? And it's like, you don't have to make it, that's number 5. You don't have to make excuses for why you choose not to do things. That is another part of setting good, clear, healthy boundaries, is that you don't have to give an excuse for why you don't want to do something. You just don't want to do it. And if you don't feel like doing it, that's what you need to listen to and heed to, is your own inner guidance system, because it's telling you you don't want to do something, and you should listen to your inner guidance system. So many times we as humans have been everything just happens so easily in life, and we get so programmed and so conditioned, and in the everyday normality of habitual living. You know what I'm saying? It's just like natural just to fall into the flow of things. And so I think that until we invariably are very focused and focus on training our thought processes and how we take in energy, how we take in what we're feeling, our emotions, until we get really, really in touch with those things within our inner guidance system, are we going to be able to set clear boundaries. And so I just want you to know that it's another part of, and if there's anything that my channel is about, it's about love, self-love, loving yourself. And that's the only way that we can love other people and want to serve them when we want to do it. And there's nothing wrong with you not wanting to do certain things. It's just that you don't want to do them, and you need to set boundaries within yourself and love yourself. That's number 6. Love yourself more than you love others. And that may seem a little bit harsh to some people to receive. But I don't mean it in a very unkind way. I just mean it in a way that's very self-nurturing and self-loving, is that we need to get to the point to where our feelings matter the most, because that is when you can live a very clairvoyant, open, very transparent life. And so we want to get to that point to where we don't live with the feelings of guilt and fear and all of those different negative emotions, because they all are actually giving us clues to what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about others, and it also gives us a very clear indication of where we are vibrationally. And so if you can learn to recognize those things, and when, say you're having a contrasting moment and you're not quite sure what you need to do with this particular, maybe there's a family member, or maybe there's a child that you have that you're just like, I really don't want this child to become codependent on me. And where do you draw the line? So, I really think that I think what I'm going to do too, you guys, is I'm going to start doing a lot more parental things too, because I know that there's a lot of times that I think as a parent, because all my 4 children are grown now, they're all on their own. And so, well, actually, I take that back. My daughter, Zoe Kennedy, she's almost 18, so she will be on her own within the next 6 months. And so, my 3 boys are on their own. And so I think that all of the experience, because only experience teaches, right? Words don't teach. I can sit here and tell you till I'm blue in the face, but if you experience things in life, I think that's the beautiful, beautiful kind of our instructional booklet of being able to share my particular journey with you. And that's the only thing that I really desire to do, is because I love you and because there was a moment in my life to where I needed a little bit of direction. You really have all of the answers within your own soul. You really do. I have all of the answers within my own soul, but it's nice to have someone to be inspired by sometimes, or someone to kind of help lift things in a little bit, or see things in a little bit different light, a more refreshing light, you know. And so that's the one thing that, those are the two things that I desire to do with my channel, is to love, to create love, and inspire expansion, you know. And that's the reason that we're here, is that we might have joy. That is the main reason for our lives, is that we will have joy. And the journey is supposed to be fun along the way, even with contrasting moments. And so I want to put a light on that, to where I feel like in life, when we can look at contrast, really difficult things for most people that are looking at these particular same subjects, I want us to be able to look at them as a welcoming, instrumental practice for us being able to create our best selves. And so I believe that, you know, I believe that there's this beautiful, fabulous, lovely mermaid within us all. And it's just refreshing. And if there's anything that creates love, is to have more love and more love, and it magnifies, and it can change the world. Love can change the world. And so that is what I really want my channel to do. So I hope that these 6 treasure trove tips helped you in creating boundaries, and I hope that they served you. And I'm really happy to be back with you, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Friday. Are you looking forward to it? What are you guys doing? Are you gonna go to like fun restaurants, or I'm actually doing, you want to know what I'm doing? I'm actually doing like some little, creating some little cobblestone stencils, like out of sponges, because I'm going to make the floors in the cottage look like cobblestone. And so I've been sketching those out and like creating the little templates and stuff. And so I'm eager and excited to do that. And I think Oliver is going to help me today. You think he can cut some stuff out for me? Anyway, so I hope that this served you once again. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao!